100 hotels in Florida. The ones here on the seafront were the earliest to be built, the first of which is the St. George's Hotel here on the right. It was opened in 1854 and incorporated with the famous guest of the year included Sir Winston Churchill, Stephen Gladstone. As we've travelled along the seafront, have you noticed these hotels? That's because the owners are required to use pastel-coloured tiles provided by the Council while she was here inaugurated, and we'll hear more about her later talk. The large cream hotel was opened in 1860, but was taken over 2 years later as Dr. who used it as llandudno hydropathic establishment. Dr. Thomas offered a treatment called compressed air bath, and some of his medicines Spanish fly and master. Along our right is the North Wales Theatre, venue covered, opened in 1994 by His Royal Highness Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales. It's one of the largest stages in the UK and has seating for 1,500 people. A new conference centre completes the project on this site. If visibility is good, you may see the many wind turbines out in the Irish Sea to your left. This is Gwyntamore, with 160 turbines, 10 miles offshore. It is Wales's largest wind farm with a capacity to generate 576 megawatts and power for 400,000 homes. Just up ahead of us are the paddling pool and lifeboat station, and in the distance you can see the Little Orme. It's 141 metres high and a popular sightseeing, walking and hiking site. The open space to the right is Bodavon Fields, home to Bodavon Farm Park, an attraction popular with families and people of all ages.
Especially when you're taxing
It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
This is the Bodavon Farm
I'm sure there's a shallow on it. I can swim. I can do that.
This is the part of town known as Llandudno. This is a mostly residential area developed after the turn of the 19th century. Notice the brick tile roofs rather than the older grey slate ones. The largest building in Llandudno is St Paul's Church. It was built at the beginning of the last century and is dedicated to the memory of the Duke of Clarence, son of Edward VII and Queen Alexandra, and grandson of Queen Victoria. Many suspected him of being none other than Jack the Ripper, the notorious Victorian murderer. If this is true, it seems rather strange to have his name associated with a church. The Duke of Clarence died in 1892 at the age of just 28. On our left is Queen's Park, named after Queen Victoria. However, one road down to the left is called Romania Drive, named after another queen, Elizabeth of Romania, who stayed here for several weeks in 1890. She was a noted author of romantic novels, and on a visit to the National Eisteddfod, she was honoured with acceptance into the Gorsedd of the Bards under her pen name Carmen Silva. During her stay, she quickly grew to love the area and was always very complimentary about the standard of hospitality in Wales. Indeed, she was so fond of Wales, she actually learned some Welsh. When she left, she described Llandudno as a beautiful haven of peace. In Welsh, Hardd, Hafan, Hedd. And to this very day, that's our town's motto. Through the trees ahead of us to our left, you may see a glimpse of an impressive stone building. Blind Veterans is a national charity that supports blind ex-servicemen and women towards living an independent life. The building was originally known as Lady Foresters, a convalescent home for the benefit of workers and their families from the iron industry based in Ironbridge in Shropshire.
For a moment during your journey to Conway to introduce myself. I'm Amanda, and I've recorded a self-guided walking tour of the medieval walled town that begins where you exit your city sightseeing bus. I can guide you through the back streets and to all the main attractions and some lesser known places at your own pace, switching in and out wherever you want. You can download this tour as we travel towards the town by pointing your phone camera at the QR code on the voice map ad in the leaflet you were given when you boarded the bus.
The Mostyn family name is synonymous with Llandudno, and this area of town is known as Llanrhos, part of the huge Mostyn estate. Coming into view on our left is the pretty little church of St Hilary. It stands on the site of a 6th century church and is the burial place of members of the Mostyn family. Most of the gravestones in the cemetery are black on the instructions of Lady Augusta back in the 19th century. Lady Augusta was a staunch supporter of the temperance movement, and as such, she despised the demon drink. Opposite the church, over to our right, once stood two public houses. Augusta did not want her church to be in such surroundings, so she had them demolished. Instead, she built firstly a cocoa house, and a little further on, a stone building with a clock, which was once a school. Rococo houses were popular in the Victorian era, built as a way of showing the temperance need not to necessarily deny the social activity offered by pubs and alcohol. In 1898, a new pub, the Links, was built in Llandudno to replace the ones demolished here. To our right is Bryn Lupus Road. Bryn is the Welsh word for hill, and lupus is the Latin and French word for a wolf. So basically, it means Wolf Hill, named after Hugh Lupus. Back in the 11th century, he was the first Norman Earl of Chester, as well as a favourite nephew of William the Conqueror. At the tender age of just 19, he was virtually the King of Cheshire, with lordships over much of North Wales. This brought him great wealth, and a lifestyle not unlike that of Henry VIII some centuries later. Perhaps that's why history books often refer to Hugh the Wolf as Hugh the Fat. Setting out from his base in Chester, he did try to subdue the Welsh, but he didn't do such a good job though, because the Welsh are still here today to tell the tale. Over to our left, above the trees in the distance, you can see Llandudno's very own Cleopatra's Needle. This obelisk was built simply as a landmark of the area's top hotel, Bodysgyllen. You might just be able to see Bodysgyllen's grey slate roof and parts of the building. The hotel can be seen more easily from the air, and indeed, some of the hotel's VIP guests arrive by helicopter. Looking ahead of you now, weather permitting, you will see a spectacular view of Snowdonia. Snowdonia National Park has been a protected landscape for more than 50 years. As we come down the hill, you will catch a sight of Conwy, its castle and quayside, and the River Conwy estuary. Formerly called Maggie Murphy's. This name came from a song from the four wall mansions that were once housed in this area. A copy of the song still hangs in the bar of the pub. Over to our right then, you can see the turrets and battlements of Conwy's famous castle, which was built between 1283 and 1287 and commissioned by King Edward beautiful castles along the North Wales coast at Caernarfon, Harlech, Criceth and Beaumaris. I'll tell you more about the castle as we approach it shortly.
The local guide again, popping in to tell you a little more about the wonderful town of Conwy, nestling between the mountains and the sea, surrounded by some of the most complete medieval walls in Europe, and loomed over by a mighty castle. All towns' characters are moulded by their history and their geography. Conway's geography is that it has the Irish Sea to the north, the mountains of Snowdonia to the south, the flatlands towards England to the east, and the road to Holyhead and Ireland running west. We're not a seaside town like Llandudno, or a riverside town like Betws-y-Coed. We're firmly set upon a great tidal estuary. Our lives are the history of the town, the rise and fall of the tides, which can change by as much as 12 metres. This affects everything, from professional fishermen catching quality shellfish to holidaymakers wanting to crab line from the quayside or walk on the beach. Historically, the estuary affected most aspects of the town's development, from the siting of Edward I's fortress.
Ahead of us now is Conway's magnificent castle. Our first view is of the two eastern towers, and between them, the massive eastern barbican, one of the entrance to the fortress. Conway's story begins in 1283, the year that King Edward I completed the conquest of Snowdonia, ending the rule of the Welsh princes. Back then, the estimated cost of the castle was £15,000, and it required a workforce of more than 15,000 masons and craftsmen from all over England to complete the project. The castle has 8 towers, originally built with shingle or slate. Once completed, the castle walls would have been limewashed or whitewashed, some traces of which can still be seen on its